you were a part of the special publicity group escorting foreign press people to the site of the Harmandir Sahib and Golden Temple. How you've described that time in your book as being particularly tensed and something stressful. You've also mentioned that your purpose was to just, as you've already hinted, that it was to tell the Sikh diaspora that Harmandir Sahib was respected and was not harmed. But how do you describe that period? And do you think that that special publicity group was necessary? What was it?
Oh, absolutely. It was necessary because there was a lot of outreach that was required. I had been the Joint Secretary External Publicity. My successor was Salman Haider, and I don't think he was ever very happy about me being inducted into the Special Publicity Group when he felt that his division had all the resources at its command. But I was, and the first task given to me was to fly almost every day from Delhi to Amritsar in an Air Force plane, taking with me foreign correspondents who were flooding into India because the story of the Indian Army's invasion of the Golden Temple was not a domestic story alone. It was a big international story.
Yes, as it continues.
And my job was to escort them to Amritsar, to then introduce them to General K.S. Brar, to whom I'm now related after my daughter married a Sikh boy. And General K.S. Brar was an outstanding TV personality. Mark Tully told me, this guy would make an absolutely superb TV actor. So he would dramatically explain what the Indian Army had done in the Golden Temple. I would then be asked to escort these foreign journalists around the parikrama. And I had been instructed that you show them the damage to the Akal Takht. You explain to them that the Akal Takht is a secular institution. It's not part of religion. It's where, well, it is in the sense that that is where the Guru Granth Sahib is kept at night. But otherwise, it's not part and parcel of the sanctum sanctorum.
Yes.
And that the sanctum sanctorum is the Harmandir Sahib. And the Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi, had been very particular in giving orders to the Indian Army that they must not shoot in the direction of the Harmandir Sahib. So it was my job to tell these journalists that please look at the Harmandir Sahib, it has not been damaged. And from this work with the foreign correspondents, I was then tasked with reaching out to the Sikh diaspora. Now, that diaspora extends from Hong Kong all the way to Seattle and to Vancouver. So it covers the breadth of the world. And our Indian embassies knew where the Sikh populations were and which was the media that they were looking at. And through them, through the Indian embassies, I fed them with as much audiovisual information as I could. Material as I could, for those ethnic channels to persuade them that we had meant no harm, that we had only wanted to attack the terrorists, and keeping hidden all the other ugly facts of what actually happened in the Golden Temple, including the fact that they idiotically chose a day when there were a lot of Sikh pilgrims in the surroundings, and several of them got killed. They also didn't want to bring out the fact that they had thought the Bhindranwale would be caught in minutes by throwing CN gas into the Akal Takht, not knowing, they didn't have the intelligence, that all the apertures in the Akal Takht had been covered. So you couldn't possibly have thrown the gas. And they sent in a young Sikh lieutenant along with a small patrol to do this canister throwing. And they were all shot dead because there was no intelligence that even in the staircase that leads from the road to the parikrama, there were apertures through which you could keep a rifle, and most of the patrol were killed before they ever entered the parikrama.
Yes.
And those who did enter the parikrama, they faced fierce artillery organized by General Shahbag Singh, the hero of the Bangladesh Liberation War, who then directed the fire at the parikrama where these people were going forward. They never reached the Akal Takht. And that boy, whom I interviewed subsequently, and who received a petrol pump from the petroleum ministry and has been very, very grateful to me. I don't want to give his name because he says that terrorists are still after him and his parents. So I'm not going to give you his name, but I interviewed him. And when I did, on behalf of Doordarshan, he said to me, "Sir, can you please ask your camera team to go out?" I said, "Sure." Then he said, "I just want to say something to you. I am a soldier of the Indian Army, and I've joined the army knowing that I may have to give my life. But please tell me, why should my parents be threatened because of my position?" I said, "Look, I can't answer your question. My job is to interview you. And after I've interviewed you, I'll check with your boss and I'll check with my bosses and we'll try and suppress this interview." So when I was interviewing me, he gave me all these details. So it's an authentic story, but one that has been kept suppressed deliberately. And in fact, the film I was commissioned to make, Saath Hi Saath Chale, went to the 14th Sikh Regiment in Patna, which was the one that rebelled. And now they don't have a copy in the film's division. So I'm afraid my first artistic endeavor has simply gone down the drain.